guys, Jonah here again, back with a proper beer review. Yeah, it's Friday night. I've still got my old shirt on from doing, and I don't know. I've shown you this before, but I been plaiting paracord bracelets, so got that bad boy on. Really simple to do, and if something like your shoe breaks or whatever, you've got some paracord that you can use. It's surprising what I get up to when I'm completely sober, and have been so for about 2 months now. So it's time to do a beer review with proper beer. I have, as I said previously, I have drunk a couple of beers, but this is my first review back. And I thought I'd do something reasonably special. So this is the Tiny Rebel Blueberry Tart. Blueberry Tart Pale Ale. And it's 5.5%, which is proper. You got some crazy kind of stuff going on. The Tiny Rebel Bear, for those of you that don't know, and everyone watching this video, you know exactly. When you see that bear, it's on all their kind of stuff. And if we look at the back, it even gives you some stuff. So the bear is talking in this one. We're on a mission to bring you good times with a hint of beer. We do this by creating brands that will capture your imagination and defy your senses. When we're not making awesome beer, we're busy brewing up plans to make better people with community and spirit and all that kind of shit. We have got one of these codes, QR codes, which, if it will focus on the actual code, there we go, instead of me, it shows you their whole range. Deep red on the eyes, blueberry and pasty, pastry, sorry, I was thinking of pasties then for some reason, and blueberry tart on the taste, etc, etc. And if we look at the ingredients, we've got water, we've got malted barley, wheat, oats in there as well, bit of lactose, fruit peel, or puree, sorry, and some hops. Some hops, isn't it, boy? Blodders. Blueberry tart. I'm almost drunk and I haven't even had any beers for a long period of time. So this has been in the fridge for a couple of days. Wow. Don't want it to waz all over my hand. Not after last time. And we've got the old tasting glass, the tulip, as though we were from Amsterdam. So let's see if this does. Yeah, look at all that stuff that goes in right at the end there. So I was watching a podcast, and apparently beers that settle out a lot, i.e. when they're in the can, it is not a good thing. We've got half a finger's a lovely white fluffy head. It's a carbonation head. Is it going to focus on there? No, it's going to continue to focus on me, but that red colour is pretty good, and it started off pretty clear, but then we got some nasties in right at the end. Good if you're having a Vit beer or something that is supposed to have particulates in, but and from what I'm led to believe, anything that settles out basically means the beer has been canned, bottled too early. Obviously, professional breweries are going to filter their beer, but we're talking about craft breweries who don't often do finings and that kind of thing. So in this case, it means, I guess, that the beer is very young when it's been put into the can. I'm not saying it's a young beer. Let's see. What's that say? 2024. So we got over a year on that bad boy. So yeah, not a good sign. But I like to mix things up, and I like to mix the trube in with the beer. Let's go for it. Oh, I better have a Hmm. It smells very much like milkshake, like a kind of fruity milkshake, like a strawberry one. And I have forgotten to do my famous kind of legendary, now infamous shot. So there it is for the thumbnail for this video, which you know, dear viewer, already, because I probably posted it. Unless for some reason it's out of focus, or my visage, which has not had a shave in a while. Oh yeah, I've cut my beard off as well. I've gone back to the old kind of goatee kind of thing. Hey, that's what happens. Right, cheers and beers. Cheers to Friday. We will see what we get from this lovely beer. Got high hopes, actually. Ooh. Oh, got to be a bit careful as well. Drinking a 5.5% beer in one shot, which is what I usually do. Lovely, creamy. It is tart. It has that tartness. They said it's blueberry, but it might. I mean, it does taste a bit kind of blueberry-like. No surprise there. But it's got a bit of raspberry kind of tartness in as well. It said fruit puree, didn't it? Did it? Yeah, it said fruit puree. I'm assuming because it's blueberry tart, I'm assuming it's got blueberries in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some other fruity in there as well. And look at that, we have got a kind of tide line-ish. I was hoping, I mean, the head itself has disappeared in the glass, apart from the ring that goes right around the outside. It's got wheat and oats. So I was hoping for some head retention. But tart beers, definitely lambics, sour beers in general, tend to lose their head pretty quickly. So I'm not surprised. So it's a good sign to have that tide line on there. Let's go in for round two. Ooh, good old amount that time. That's interesting. The first sip was very milky, um, very kind of lacto-y. Not sugary, that's not what I'm saying. But it had that smoothness, it had that milkshakey type thing. Now I'm getting more of the kind of tartness. The tartness is building up now. Lovely. I love the mixture of wheat and oats. I do go on about it quite a lot because it's basically because it's in lots of beers. If you stop putting wheats and oats in beers, I'll stop mentioning it, stop talking about it. But it gives this lovely creaminess, which lends itself okay to things like milkshake IPAs and that kind of stuff. But anything with those two ingredients is, yeah, it's nice. The top tide line. See if we can get a bit of wipe it off a bit. The top one's kind of disappeared. It's those dots along there was where it was, but now we've got a secondary one. Pardon me, which is kind of working its way down the glass. Not surprised about that, but it also says that there's a slightly oiliness. Although sometimes oiliness in a beer, in any kind of alcoholic drink, sticks to the side of the glass. In this case, maybe not. It's kind of aiding the bubbles to run down. Cheers and beers. Oh, yeah, so I think the lacto is bound to my receptors. I'm still getting a hint of sweetness. It's not majorly, but I think they put that in, one, to add to the creaminess, obviously, but to take the edge off the tartness. Um, but my receptors are full of the lactose now. So all I'm getting is that lovely kind of tart, bitter, not from hops, but from the puree, I guess, which would be in there, which might be what the cloudiness was. I was having a look when I was drinking at the bottom of the glass to see if I could actually see kind of any solid kind of particulate, but it looks like it's all gone into suspension, and it hasn't dropped out either. So I guess the can had been sitting for a while. Maybe putting it in the fridge as well helped things drop to the bottom of the can a little bit. Um, but yes, I am a firm believer in, when you're tasting a drink, or in this case beer, but it could be any kind of drink, your sensory perception changes as you drink. Um, so yeah, without going into a massive kind of biochemistry lesson, um, receptors in your taste buds, in your tongue, the back of your throat, in your nose too, bind and fire off. And once they fired off, it takes, and I'm talking about neurons, so it fires off electrical impulses to your brain to give information. Once they fired off once, it takes a while for them to regenerate and fire off again. Um, kind of schooling you, dear viewer, in how your brain works. Whoa. Um, but yeah, that's how the science of kind of biochemistry work within the human body. You could always say electrochemicals and that kind of stuff as well, because they turn into electro pulses that go into your brain. Have I bored you enough? This is not much supposed to be a boring one. This is supposed to be drinking on a Friday night with you, dear viewer, my friends. Clink to whatever you're drinking. Um, Now I do have. I've kind of had this ongoing debate with one of you, dear viewers, and this one I'm talking to you, Philip, Philip Nash, and he's been wanting me to drink a Tonka Stout that I do have for ages, and I haven't had it yet. But he said, while you've still got your cold, your man flu, hopefully not COVID, drink that bad boy, because he basically said it's awful. So I think I'm going to drink that next. Whether it's tomorrow, whether it's the next day, not sure, but I will definitely do that as my next review. Anyway, going back to this one, Tiny Rebel has been making a name for itself a lot in the last few years, um, and they making some absolutely brilliant, fantastic beers. Um, they are kind of what BrewDog should have been, I think. Um, Although BrewDog's been around for a long time, Tiny Rebel has got it more consistently right over time. BrewDog sometimes does things just for what's that word? Sensationalism. Is that a word? Yeah, I think it is. Whereas Tiny Rebel plod along under the radar. They know what they're doing. Their marketing is pretty much spot on. So if you guys are watching from Tiny Rebel, cheers and beers to you guys. But yeah, you've got it really right. Um, Whereas BrewDog, I feel, has slipped away. Um, Although they have made some nice alcohol-free beers of late. Um, but yeah, they've grown a bit too big, a bit too commercial. Shot themselves in the foot, I think, really. Anyway, that's just what I think. Dear viewer, you can think whatever you like about these matters. After all, you might be shouting at your screen going, what the hell is he talking about? Brewdog is my favourite, is my not favourite brewery, whichever one it is. Hey, at least they make beer. They could be like killing small children, or, you know, putting people up chimneys, or whatever it is. Aha, interesting. So, the final draft of the glass is usually where bits that were kind of slightly heavier have fallen to the bottom. So it might give you a slightly different taste. And weirdly, that gave me more of a kind of creamy kind of taste once again. So maybe some of the heavier particles in there had some sort of binding to the wheat or the oats, whatever the creamy taste comes from. In this one, maybe the lactose, although it's not as sweet as it was to start with. Jesus Christ, that cough! I don't know if you heard that. Well, you probably did. Wow, that's proper. Anyway, this has been Uncle Jonah saying to all the people watching, all you dear viewers, have a fantastic weekend. Remember to drink some beer. Make some time in your weekend to drink a beer or two. If you've got friends, drink a beer, chat some nonsense. Um, yeah, chew the fat. It's what your loving Uncle Jonna would do. And until then, guys, we'll see you real soon for more beer reviews. And I think I'm going to pull that Tonga Stout out of the closet. Closet? What am I saying? Out of the cupboard. I might even put it in the fridge, and I'll do that one next. Just for you, Phil. Everyone else, have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other. Remember, drink some beer because it makes you smarter.